Thank you, Will. Good evening once again. Both Southampton and Aston Villa will consider themselves to be out of form, but the fact they're still within touching distance of the race for the European places shows how much progress the two clubs have made this season. The Saints' habit of losing after scoring first resurfaced once again against Arsenal, while Villa led twice at Burnley and still managed to lose their third match in 4 games. Ralph Hasenhüttl can point to a lengthy injury list. Villa have a young squad who are maybe learning 1 or 2 harsh lessons at the moment, but both have the capability of using tonight as a turning point to push upwards once again. Here are the two sides. 3 changes for the Saints. Romeo, Bertrand and Redmond come into the team which lost against Arsenal. The players who drop out are Valery, Vokins and Adams. It is McCarthy in goal, Diallo, Bednarek, Stevens and Bertrand the back 4, Walcott, Romeo, Ward-Prowse and Armstrong across midfield, with Redmond and Ings in attack. And their bench is Adams, Ndulu, Long, Forster, Gineppo, Watts, Ramsey, Jankovic and Valery. For Aston Villa, it's the same team which led twice and lost 3-2 at Turf Moor. Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, Mings and Target the back 4, Luis and McGinn in midfield, Traore, Barkley and Grealish behind Watkins. Their bench is Trezeguet, Nakamba, El Mohammadi, Davis, Engels, El Ghazi, Taylor, Heaton and their new signing Morgan Sanson, the midfielder signed for £14 million from Marseille. The two captains, James Ward-Prowse and Jack Grealish, who both scored in the corresponding game at Villa Park, just tossing up in the centre circle with Lee Mason, the referee. David Connolly is alongside me. It was a terrific game at Villa Park. Of course, Southampton was scintillating in the first hour, 4 goals up before Villa made a belated recovery. And we could hope for similar tonight, because both teams need to maybe just spark themselves once again, and attacking football is when we see both teams at their best.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're hoping for goals. As you said, that game earlier on in the season, was it November, was absolutely brilliant. We saw some stunning goals, we really did, and both sides, I guess, at their best, you know, their strengths and their weaknesses, really going for it in terms of trying to get goals and obviously win games, but obviously conceding them at the same time.
And it's Aston Villa who will get the game underway in their black shirts, sky blue shorts and black socks. Southampton in their home strip, the red shirts with the white sash across the shirt with black shorts and red and white socks. Lee Mason, our referee. And both sets of players and officials take the knee on the first blast of his whistle. And what is a bitterly cold evening here on the south coast. The earlier rain has given way to dry conditions, but it's rather blustery with the breeze coming in off the Solent as Aston Villa get the game underway, playing from right to left as we look out from the main stand here. And an early ball played forward for Southampton, aimed for Danny Ings, but it's Konsa who gets there first and guides it back towards Emi Martinez, wearing all orange, defending the Aston Villa goal away to our right-hand side.
Well, just something, Nigel, here. I mean, James Ward-Prowse has played full-back before, and that's the role he's playing here, right-back. He's going to have a duel up against Grealish. I think he might have played there, actually. He played there in the game at Villa Park for a spell. I think he might have done in the second half. I'll have to cast my mind back, but he's got that ability to sit and serve, and he's going to have a job to do, him and Grealish down this right-hand side.
Ward-Prowse with an early ball forward, seeking out Ings on the edge of the penalty area, but once again Konsa is able to clear, and the second ball drops to a red shirt, but it's Aston Villa who recover, and Martinez will clear long downfield once again, drilled towards this near side, looking for Grealish over his head as he tangles with Ward-Prowse, and that will be an Aston Villa throw, and inside the Southampton half on this near side. Of course, Ward-Prowse really lit up the corresponding game at Villa Park with those 2 outstanding free kicks, becoming the first player in the Premier League era to score 2 direct free kicks in the same half. He also provided the corner kick for Jan Vestergaard to score the opening goal. Danny Ings made it 4-0 before an hour was played. Here is Watkins for Aston Villa, finding Grealish down the left-hand side. And the 2 interchange passes once again. McGinn finding Watkins, who comes in field now. Maybe thought about the right-footed shot, but he was quickly closed down. And Southampton clear up towards the halfway line. But it's recovered by Konsa. And now Cash on the far side, wide towards the ponytailed Traore. And Aston Villa look to just pop the ball around in front of the Southampton back four, but in the end they're forced back by the press towards their own goalkeeper, Emi Martinez.
Well, this is interesting as well. Danny Ings at the minute is lining up to the left-hand side. Armstrong's down through the middle with Redmond, and Redmond slightly to the right. I mean, Grealish received that ball immediately. Walcott pressed him, Romeo pressed him, Ward-Prowse. He attracted three players, and that's what Saints are trying to do here. Just obviously smother him and try and turn the ball over.
2.5 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the final game of what's been another very busy game day on the TalkSport network. Newcastle winning 2-0 at Aston Villa in the lunchtime kick-off in the Premier League. Over on TalkSport in the Championship, it was goalless between the leaders Norwich against Middlesbrough before Derby beat Bristol City by 1-0, and then another goalless game over on TalkSport at 5:30 between Arsenal and Manchester United, as Grealish is tumbled by a challenge on the far side, and it will be a free kick for Aston Villa midway inside the Saints half.
He did really well there, Jack Grealish, on the left-hand side. He played a couple of give and goes, and immediately Diallo brought him down. He's not happy, Jack. I think he feels that maybe Diallo should have got booked for that. And obviously, look, he's the most fouled player, and what you want is, you want to be able to, play your normal game and not get fouled the whole time. So that might be in their thoughts, the Villa players. If someone does keep fouling, Jack, get him booked.
Well, Traore and Cash are over the free kick, which is just right of centre, about 40 yards from goal. Southampton have pulled every single red shirt behind the ball. And with the wind beginning to just swirl around St Mary's, any high ball in would be a test for a defensive team, and Cash does that now, but it's claimed unchallenged by Alex McCarthy at the far post.
Well, they were trying to aim this really deep at the back post. Couldn't quite get enough on that ball from Cash.
This game is 11th against 10th in the Premier League. Both teams level on points, and if there is a winner in this game, they will go up to 8th in the table above both Arsenal and Chelsea. Of course, Chelsea in action tomorrow, live on TalkSport at noon, at home to Burnley. Now Ward-Prowse for Southampton again, finding Jan Bednarek. Stevens quickly plays it forward into the centre circle, but it's given away cheaply by Armstrong, and a heavy challenge comes in from Moreo on McGinn, but McGinn now recovers possession, and it's wide towards the far side and Cash, and now Traore is brought into the game once again, but it's a very quick challenge snapping in from Bertrand, and I think he's been penalised, the Southampton man, and Villa have another free kick on the far side.
Well, look at Jack Grealish's position here. The ball's with the right back on a throw, and he's already hugging the left touchline. What he wants is to get the ball out this side really quickly. They go 1v1, but they've just been a little bit slow, Villa, going back to the goalkeeper. By the time it does get to this left-hand side, Southampton already set up.
Elsewhere in the Premier League today, Palace beating Wolves by 1-0. Eberici Eze scoring his third goal in the Premier League. Manchester City, thanks to an early strike from Gabriel Jesus, overcoming Sheffield United also by 1-0, and it was 2-2 at the Hawthorns between West Brom and Fulham, a result which really neither does either side too many favours towards the bottom of the table. Cash with a cross in for Villa from the right hand side. It's initially cleared by Bertrand. Now Target finding McGinn, and it's swept wide towards the left. Traore gathers down the line for Grealish. Very quickly there is double coverage for him, but Grealish evades both Bednarek and Ward-Prowse. Back again towards Target, and we can see the frustration there from Grealish, who was looking for Target to move the ball on a bit sooner, but Villa still maintain possession. And it's Ross Barkley back inside the Villa half, and Constable will eventually go all the way back towards Emi Martinez once again. 6 minutes played on TalkSport 2, and it's still goalless here at St Mary's. Here is David Connor.
Yeah, and as that ball went back to Emi Martinez, you see the Southampton back line, squeeze up, just compressing the play. Traore was offside, Grealish was offside. They just want to make sure they work that front unit of Villa.
Now a long ball is played forward by Mings, flicked on by Watkins, gathered by Barkley, back towards Watkins again, inside the penalty area. The angle was tight, and he drags the left-footed shot across the face of goal, and it almost became across the Bertrand Traore.
Yeah, it was unlucky. I mean, long ball forward, punt forward, flicked on, actually lands at the feet of Barkley, just puts in Watkins, just peeled off there, the centre half. Good first touch, and just tried to hour it in that bottom corner. Just dragged it a little bit. Unlucky. I mean, for him, he's obviously he can go with both feet. Watkins, that's what's great about him, but didn't quite get that one right.
Watkins, of course, signed from Brentford, and we have to say they didn't really miss him today, beating Wickham by 7-2 in the Championship. Elsewhere, Norwich 0, Middlesbrough 0 in our 12:30 kick-off. For the first time this season, Norwich going through 90 minutes in the Championship without a single shot on target. Emi Buendia was also sent off. Neil Warnock's team did a real job on them. Swansea closing the gap at the top. They won 3-1 at Rotherham. And it's Swansea against Norwich, live on TalkSport 2, 8:15 next Friday. Ings now with a cross in from the near side, the right for Southampton, but it's blocked by Mings, and it will be a throw-in which James Ward-Prowse will come across to take down the Southampton right-hand side. And with Ward-Prowse playing at right back, what do you lose from the Southampton midfield?
Yeah, I mean, look, he uses industry and his ball-playing ability, no doubt, but he can sit and serve as a full-back. I've seen him do that before. Obviously, he's in that natural position.
Lovely turn now from Ings inside the penalty area. The shot's fired in from Armstrong, and Lee Mason waves away penalty appeals as it was deflected behind in the end, but it was scintillating play from Danny Ings to spin away from the initial challenge, and he found Armstrong, and Southampton are still complaining about a potential handball.
Well, this is brilliant from Ings. I think we saw this against Tottenham, maybe. It might have been
when he scored
last season, when he a little lift over in there, and he lifted it over and then actually cut the ball back to Armstrong, and then did it ricochet off Matty Cash possibly?
Well, they are checking for a potential handball inside the penalty area. Armstrong with the shot. Well, it clearly struck Matty Cash on the hand.
Yeah,
that's got to be a penalty.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't in a natural position, so Lee Mason didn't give it, but I think VAR.
Well, it was shot into the ground by Armstrong, and Matty Cash actually lent out his left hand to block the shot inside the 6-yard area. Ings put the subsequent rebound behind, and they're having a look at this, and well, if they don't give a penalty, then I don't know what is a penalty.
Well, it's great invention, wasn't it?
Well, Mike Dean's the VAR.
Yeah.
Well, he knows one or two things about giving penalties, let's say. And he's having a long look here in Stockley Park. The arm has gone out from Cash. We can clearly see that on the replay. And he almost leaned in towards the ball as well. The only question is, did it actually strike his thigh before hitting his hand? But his hand is still in an unnatural position.
Can you see the monitor? The pitchside monitor? No? No penalty.
Wow. Well, Ralph Hasenhüttl has stood there inside the technical area. I can only think it brushed his thigh on the way up to his hand, and that's what saved Matty Cash.
Well, disbelief in the press box, I guess. And a lot of the press people obviously know the laws of the game. The new one, anyway, the handball rule, but surprised at that.
Well, we have seen penalties given for far less clear-cut handballs than that. Now Barkley at the other end, the ball seemed to strike him on the hand as he received it from Traore, and it's gone behind for a goal kick in the end. So what saved Matty Cash there from
I don't know.
Penalty?
I've got no real idea, to be honest, but it was great invention from Ings to actually work the opening and then just flick the ball back for Armstrong.
Well, Tim Robinson, the fourth official, is currently having words with Ralph Hasenhüttl and a member of his backroom team, and we have monitors here in the press box. We're watching it once again. It was the pullback from Ings, the shot from Armstrong, and Cash stuck out his left hand, and presumably VAR, Mike Dean has said that it struck him on the body before it struck him on the hand, but it was deliberate handball, I think. He was going out to stop the ball from going in with his hand.
It's hard to say if it was deliberate, but it was certainly handball when his arm was in naturally it was outside the body line. I don't know, I give up. I don't know where I am with any of these rules, these handball rules.
Well, it takes a lot to make David Connolly speechless, but at the moment he is speechless. 11 minutes played. While we were watching that, Villa have won a free kick midway inside the Southampton half. Traore is over it, so too is Grealish. It's delivered by Grealish, headed on by Konsa into the 6-yard area. Good call, good claim though by Alex McCarthy on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, and that's obviously something they've worked on the training ground, Villa. They've spotted that how Southampton mark, there is a lot of space at the back post. They're not only the big guys in the middle, so the back post is the smallest player, and a lot of space there. They've done that a couple of times now. Konsa just didn't quite get the header back right.
Game day on TalkSport 2 here in the Premier League. Southampton 0, Aston Villa 0. on a day which has seen Arsenal and Manchester United grind out a goalless draw at the Emirates Stadium. The big winners today at the bottom of the table, undoubtedly Newcastle. 2 late goals from Callum Wilson settling their game at Goodison Park against Everton. Palace, of course, picking up 3 points against Wolves, which just keeps their heads above water in lower mid-table. As a low cross is driven in from Walcott on this near side for Southampton, blocked by Tyrone Mings, and it's gone behind for another corner kick to the Saints.
Yeah, lovely little give and go here. Walcott into Romeo, just a return pass in the box, try to slide it across, really good interception there. I think it might have been Mings who got the final contact. Just about to go to Danny Ings, who had a tap in, so great block. But this is where they got their goal against Arsenal. They worked the set piece off the training ground from this side, but they've actually gone for an in-swinger here.
It's Bertrand who will take it, left-footed. Ward-Prowse is actually a long way back behind the play. The delivery from Bertrand, it's cleared out as far as Romeu, and now wide towards Walcott again, who found Bertrand with a low right-footed ball into the penalty area, and it's deflected right through the 6-yard box, gathered by Redmond at the far post, and now Armstrong with another shot. More appeals for handball. Bednarek with a meaty volley, which is blocked inside the penalty area, and then Romeo with the third shot of the move, and it's dragged wide.
Yeah, it's really well worked here. I mean, they worked the second phase ball. Southampton kept it alive. Terrific cross along the box. Couple of ricochets, a few deflected shots. Villa putting their bodies on the line. Couldn't quite get that final contact, did they? A couple of little ricochets. It's interesting actually why they put Bertrand on their set piece rather than Ward-Prowse. Probably the first time I've seen the likes of Bertrand on a set piece for a long time.
Usually not too many other Southampton players get a look in, understandably so, as it's flicked on by Redmond to find Ings, who turns on the edge of the area. Armstrong was in support, but it's
Grealish is in here.
A long ball played forward now by McGinn, and Grealish in acres of space on this near side, the left. Watkins waits inside the penalty area along with Barkley, but Grealish now dinks in the cross just over the head of Watkins, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, they worked that really well, ever so well, Villa. They recognised Ward-Prowse was just caught in no man's land, so it was a lovely ball over the top for Jack Grealish. Just maybe the dink cross to the back post was slightly overhit, a little bit above Watkins. I would have liked him actually seeing take Ward-Prowse on here. He worked his way into the box well, but just put a little bit too much on the cross.
And you're listening to Southampton against Aston Villa on TalkSport 2 with Now TV. And don't forget, you can watch this game live right now with a Now TV Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. Nearly 15 minutes played. Goalless, but certainly 1 or 2 talking points in the game so far.
Well, they didn't do this very well against Arsenal. You know, not in the cup, but in the league game, playing out from the back, but that's a lot better from them.
It was 2 real games of contrast for Southampton against Arsenal in the FA Cup game. I think Arsenal were very limp, but Southampton were worthy winners, even though it was only by 1-0 with an own goal. But
they put a lot into that game,
yeah.
You know, they really wanted to progress. Obviously the changes from Arsenal certainly helped, but I just thought they didn't have the same energy, didn't have the same quality or energy on the pitch in the league game.
But yet again, they scored first at home and lost, and they've done that against Arsenal, Spurs and Manchester United here already this season. And it is a weakness which Ralph Hasenhüttl has been unable to address, as a long ball is played forward for Villa, seeking out Ollie Watkins, but he was crowded out by both Stevens and Bednarek, and it's gathered by Alex McCarthy. Now Romeu, who I think is somebody Ralph Hasenhüttl favours in midfield, and he was very keen to get him back into the team as quickly as possible. Here is the Cornishman, Jack Stevens.
Well, you can see Villa here putting barely any sort of pressure on Southampton. You know, just at will they can play any sort of pass they want, Saints at the back.
16 minutes played, 0-0 here on a bitterly cold night on the south coast. The last time I was here was pre-lockdown for that match against Burnley, which was played in the teeth of a storm. Not quite as bad tonight. As Redmond comes forward now on the far side for Southampton. And he's got support from Armstrong, and Redmond has been played in down the left-hand side. A low cross into the penalty area was initially deflected away by Concert, and it was loose for a moment. Ings was looking to fasten onto it, but Villa are able to clear, and now it's spread wide towards this near side and Grealish once again. And Grealish will look to burst into the penalty area, but he's held up by Ward-Prowse, and a battle between the two captains, and Bednarek has the opportunity to play the ball out for Southampton again. Romeo then finds Stevens, still inside the penalty area. But yet again, there is no press whatsoever from Aston Villa.
No, they're just sitting off going, go on then, can you break us down, can you play through us? It's got so many players in the middle of the park, Villa, just matching up Southampton. And then on the turnover, that's where there's space for Grealish. I think there he took on Ward-Prowse, he just showed him too much of the balls, a little bit too obvious what he was trying to do, and actually, Ward-Prowse read it. And Grealish is quick, what is he, in the top 5, top 6 in the Premier League, in terms of how quick he is, but Ward-Prowse matched him up there.
Now Mings with a solid challenge on Danny Ings. You may have heard the thwack of the ball there inside the stadium here at St Mary's, and Southampton have a throw-in on the far side. Some breaking news on TalkSport 2. AFC Wimbledon have parted company with their manager Glyn Hodges and the assistant manager Nick Dawes by mutual consent. They lost 2-0 at home to MK Dons today. They're 4th from bottom in League One. They survived thanks to points per game last season, and at the moment they might not be rescued in similar fashion during the current campaign. Here is Barkley coming forward now for Villa. Wide towards Bertrand on the right-hand side. Barkley continues his run. He'll have to try and take on both Bertrand and Stevens. And in the end he goes back towards Cash, who was in support. And Villa are very happy to be patient here with 18 minutes played. Goalless at St Mary's on TalkSport 2. There's already been a very strong penalty shout for the home side, which went to VAR, and Mike Dean deciding it wasn't a penalty, as the flag is up for offside against Jack Grealish on the far side, and it will be a free kick. And in that situation, David, I'm surprised that Lee Mason wasn't given the option to go and have a look himself.
Well, no, I mean, we can't see where the monitor is, but as I said at the time, I'm amazed. Why hasn't he gone to the monitor? I mean, we have seen that of late. What was the decision the other day?
It's just down there. It's just to the right of the Aston Villa technical area. Just to the right of the playing tunnel here, so...
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm amazed he didn't...
But irrespective of where it is, go and have a look. Now Romeo has been caught by McGinn, 15 yards inside the Southampton half, and that will be a free kick to the Saints, who have lost their 2 previous games in the Premier League against Leicester and Arsenal, after only 2 losses in their previous 15 games, and both of those were against the Manchester clubs in pretty tight games. Everton, Aston Villa and Liverpool, all beaten by Ralph Hasenhüttl's team so far this season, and they're already into the 5th round of the FA Cup. They'll travel to Wolves in the last 16. Ward-Prowse with a great ball into the penalty area down the right-hand side. Ings was waiting inside the 6-yard area, and eventually it's a crucial intervention from Matty Cash to send the ball spiralling over the top for a corner.
Yeah, brilliant. That was Southampton in a nutshell, basically. With their narrow wingers playing infield. Romeo zipped the ball into them, then they're out and away, out to Ward-Prowse. Brilliant cross on the run. Absolutely fantastic. Right along the 6-yard box, but well cleared. And they've gone back to Bertrand again, taking this set piece. Maybe they've spotted something. I know they conceded obviously against Burnley to the back post, against Man City they were weak at the back post, but unusual.
Bertrand with the in-swinger towards the near post. It's flicked on, and eventually it's cleared, but once again it wasn't convincing. Villa not winning the first contact, and rather fortunate it landed kindly for them inside the penalty area. Of course, James Ward-Prowse has been the set-piece king for them for so long, and he's really stepped up his productivity in the Premier League this season. 4 goals and 5 assists. And he also made his 250th Premier League appearance against Arsenal on Tuesday evening, only the 4th Southampton player to reach that achievement.
Well, isn't it strange then that he's not on set pieces? I mean, he's delivering balls in the box, so that it can't be, he doesn't have an issue with maybe his groin or whatever, obviously wouldn't be playing, but I don't know, and they've got him back at corners. Normally you have the quickest player, in your team back at corners against, and he is quick, James, but surprising, unless they're just trying to, play mind games, a little bit of mind games with Villa in terms of mixing up. Villa may be expecting Ward-Prowse to be on everything, I don't know.
Well, here is Target, former Southampton player for Aston Villa. Mings with a long ball forward. Another player with experience of playing on the south coast with Bournemouth. McCarthy with a long ball forward for Southampton on the far side, and it bobbles out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Aston Villa once again. And Barkley has it back towards Douglas Luiz. Now Matty Cash once again, he was looking for Bertrand Traoré, and it's all the way back towards Emi Martinez once again. The Southampton players are wearing black armbands tonight in memory of their former club president John Mortimer, who passed away recently.
Well, there's a little bit of a contrast there, isn't there, in styles in terms of out of possession. Certainly when the ball goes back to the Villa centre halves and Emi Martinez, Saints, Redmond and Ings, they keep going, don't they? They keep the press on. Whereas for Villa, that is certainly not the case. They just sit off. And they've been offside already too many times. Villa, Grealish once, Traoré. They're going to go from back to front like that. You know, you've got to look on the line. You've got to stay on side. You've got to have a look. I mean, it's such a waste of an attack.
Bertrand Traoré this time, he was flagged offside,
and they're quick enough, you know.
And it's not as if Southampton are playing a massively high line, is it?
No, exactly. So you just got to get the timing right, get the movement right. No excuse.
0-0. 23 minutes played here on TalkSport 2. And the next live action in terms of football on this channel comes on Monday night. Big game as well at both ends of the Championship now. Watford against Queen's Park Rangers gets underway at 7:45, and on Tuesday it's the quarter-finals of the Papa John's Trophy, and our feature game is MK Dons against Sunderland, and that match kicks off at 6:30. Now Armstrong for Southampton on the far side, the left, steaming forward on the overlap was Bertrand, but it's infield towards Redmond. Redmond again has the opportunity to use his pace in the wide area, and he tricked his way beyond Douglas Luiz, but it was hoofed away by Cash long downfield, and now to play for a throw-in to Southampton. We played 24 minutes here, and it's goalless between Southampton and Aston Villa. Chances at a premium, but the one moment of controversy came early on. It was a shot from Stuart Armstrong inside the Southampton penalty area. It was blocked by Matty Cash. It clearly struck him on the left hand. There was a lengthy VAR view by Mike Dean in Stockley Park, and in the end a penalty was not given, and Southampton were left dumbfounded by that. Both teams are looking to play constructive football, but at the moment there's an element of both of them cancelling each other out. 24 minutes played. It is Southampton 0, Aston Villa 0. And it's a free kick for Southampton once again, midway inside the Aston Villa half.
Well, again, I mean, you know, Ward-Prowse is not on this. I know it's a bit deeper, certainly not within striking range, but he's not on it.
It's Armstrong from the free kick, fires it low into the near post, and it's blocked right by the goal post by Emi Martinez, and scrambled clear by Aston Villa once again. Here is Bednarek, just inside the Villa half, short towards Romeu, and then volleyed clear by Stevens. Didn't really appreciate the pass in that sort of area. Romeu slips and then tries to win it back from Grealish on the ground, and eventually Grealish has been upended by a combination of Romeu and Armstrong, and it's a free kick to Villa.
Well, that's Romeu putting his head where the boots are. I mean, he's on the ground, he's trying to keep possession, but he's under huge pressure, and he actually nods the ball on the ground, takes it away from Grealish.
Saw John Terry do that once in the World Cup, didn't
That's
we?
right, yeah. Armstrong commits the foul. Well, I just wonder whether, you know, Ward-Prowse is just sticking to this right-hand spot. But, you know, basically because of Grealish, is he there just to plug the gap? Maybe Ward-Prowse, you know, Ralph thinks Ward-Prowse is the sort of player he just really needs there most of the time.
Now Target thumps it forward, looking for Watkins, but it's headed away by Bertrand. And again, Bertrand stood there, arms outstretched, wondering where the challenge was from the Saints midfield. Diallo was rather caught under the ball, and here is Bertrand for Aston Villa, wide on the far side, their right, back towards Douglas Luiz, and it's pinged forward by Konsa, taken down superbly by Grealish, an exquisite first touch down the left-hand side. Once again, Ward-Prowse will come across to make the challenge, along with Walcott, and it's a throw into Aston Villa.
Well, he attracted two there, and he could have actually used Matty Target on the underlap, and he just took another touch, Grealish, but wonderful switch of play from Ezri Konsa. Brilliant ball out of Grealish. That's the sort of pass that you want as a winger, you know, drilled out to you, so you can, if you are 1v1, you can go quickly, but as it was, Saints quickly got two back against Grealish.
And the ball's almost run behind by Ward-Prowse as he looks to clear on this near side, but eventually the ball did drift out of play, and Aston Villa will have a throw-in level with the edge of the Southampton penalty area. 27 minutes played. 0-0 the scoreline here on TalkSport 2. Target throws it in looking for Watkins, and in the end it's cleared away as far as Target again, but Southampton win it back, and the shaven-headed Romeu will play a long ball downfield. It then rather goes into the back of Barkley, but wins the ball back. Target, though, quickly has it for Aston Villa, and now McGinn with a lofted ball forward. Watkins again was just hanging on the shoulder of the last defender, but Bednarek with a good leap to head the ball clear before Grealish closes down Ward-Prowse, and it will be a throw to Southampton on this near side. And with Grealish and Ward-Prowse in direct opposition, two of the most creative talents in the game, David, and simply cancelling each other out.
Well, they are at this minute. I mean, I guess if you're around, you've got, Romeu fit, and normally him and Ward-Prowse are terrific as a pairing, but Diallo's come in and done really well, so he's kept that, that energy and drive in there. Romeu's very aggressive, isn't he, on the front foot, and I guess Ward-Prowse at fullback, he just gives you that little bit of quality, which, they're missing with the likes of Walker-Peters out.
Diallo back towards Ward-Prowse and further back towards McCarthy, who clears long downfield for Southampton once again. It's headed away on the halfway line by Target, and now McGinn has it for Villa, seeking out Grealish on this near side, but once again Bednarek comes across, a cushioned header to control, and then he clears it long downfield once again. Redmond has it on the halfway line for Southampton. Romeu takes over, and he had Armstrong making the run in behind, but it's back again towards Bertrand, and then Stevens.
Well, this is Southampton, at their best, and they've done this a few times. When they got the ball, the two centre-halves, Ward-Prowse goes as a winger, the likes of Theo Walcott comes in field, really narrow, like a second striker, and they just try and drag Matty Target really narrow. That creates space for Ward-Prowse on the outside. They've done it a couple of times really, really well.
Carl Rowley, our producer here, has just got clarification from the PGMOL. It was no penalty in the earlier VAR check, because the ball hit Cash's thigh before striking his hand. Had it deflected off an opponent, it may well have been a penalty, but because it was off his own body, it's not handball. But I think Cash went to handle the ball.
Well, I'm speechless, Nigel.
I mean, it hit him on the thigh than his hand, but his movement was towards the ball with his hand.
I can't believe you say it takes me a lot to be speechless. Maybe I talk too much. I'll talk a bit less.
Well, we work in radio, so good job you do keep talking.
I thought that's what I meant to do.
It's a crime.
Yes, I'll feel. I'll keep feeling. But don't ask me about VR and handball.
No, look. I mean, if the ball had hit his knee, then spun up and struck him accidentally on the upper arm, then fair enough, but his hand was out.
I'm with you on that, Nigel. I'm with you.
Anyway, here is Ings for Southampton. Now Romeu, midway inside the Villa half, and he does well to evade the challenge of Luis and plays it wide towards Armstrong down the left-hand side. Armstrong checks back, Bertrand fires in the shot towards the near post, and it ripples the side netting and goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, again, really good attack from Saints. That is their formation, Rouse philosophy in a nutshell. The wingers in, very narrow, just drags the full-backs in, then it creates a little bit of space on the outside, and they're sort of stuck, really, Matty Cash and Matty Target, in terms of what do they do? Do they keep their width and worry about, possible full-backs bombing on, or do they go in narrow with the wingers? And that's where they toy with you. And obviously Romeu's in there, that little bit of quality. I think he's done really well, hasn't he, so far, Romeu? He's done really, really well. But he's powerful, he's quick, he's strong, but he's also got really good feet. He can get out of tight areas. It's been excellent.
31 minutes played on the south coast here at St Mary's. Southampton 0, Aston Villa 0 in the Premier League. Live on TalkSport 2. And don't forget, from 4 a.m. on Friday morning, we have exclusive coverage of the first test from Chennai between India and England. Our advert-free coverage of two teams currently in excellent form. England, of course, winning their series in Sri Lanka, and India memorably coming from behind to beat Australia by 2-1 during their most recent series away from home. And it's live and exclusive to TalkSport 2 coming up on Friday morning. Southampton have given the ball away cheaply on this near side. It's a throw-in which Grealish will leave for Target. Now short towards Barkley, who of course can't be offside by the corner flag. Back towards Grealish again, scooped towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's headed away by Ward-Prowse, and then Grealish wrestles Redmond to the ground, and that will be a free kick to Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really... There they were playing out McCarthy, a straight ball into Romeo, commentary's curse, gave it away, but maybe if they had Shea Adams, they might have just relieved the pressure and gone a little bit longer, and I think that's at times Saints need to get that balance. Under pressure there, it didn't work against Arsenal, you know, in terms of the cup game, trying to sort of, in the league game, trying to play out, but, you know, maybe at times, just go long, relieve that pressure.
And you're listening to Southampton against Aston Villa on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Don't part exchange. Get money off your next car and go to WeBuyAnyCar.com. 12 minutes to play in the first half here. 0-0 at St Mary's. Now the goalkeeper's really had a difficult shot to save, although we did see Emi Martinez go down at his near post to block that cross from Bertrand, as Watkins has it now for Villa on the far side. Watkins looking to score in 3 successive games for the first time for Aston Villa, and it would also be the first time for anyone since August of 2018.
Well, that was a brilliant little flick round the corner from Walcott, and when it goes into the front, you know, they do move it really, really well. Came back to Romeo, he gets out of trouble again, and I mean, it's slowed down somewhat here, but you know, the front players, Walcott it's been quiet, but whenever he's at it, he's looked really lively.
Southampton with 57% of the possession so far, so it's been pretty even in all respects so far. As Walcott now comes forward into the penalty area right hand side, back to Ward-Prowse, and now Redmond takes over, shifts it onto his left foot, but the shot is blocked superbly by a lunging John McGinn on the edge of the penalty area. Now Bednarek wide to the far side, and Armstrong, who can come in field from the left again into the penalty area, and he's gone beyond McGinn, who couldn't really challenge inside the box. Back now towards Diallo, high hanging cross from him, and Mings steps in before Ings to head clear. But Southampton win the second ball. Here is Romeo, who has been the dominant force in the midfield area so far. Now Walcott cuts in field, back again it goes towards Bednarek, and Stevens inside the centre circle, pressurised by Barkley, and it's all the way back towards Alex McCarthy once again. And Aston Villa with 9 victories so far this season, and if they win here tonight, that would surpass their total from the previous campaign, and they've got games in hand on all of the teams bar Everton above them, and they'll be disappointed to have started the calendar year with 1 win and 3 defeats, but they still play in a fashion which suggests they are capable of finishing at least in the top half and maybe even higher. And the same really goes for Southampton, which is why it's been such an even game so far, as Traore goes through the back of Redmond on the far side, and that will be a free kick to the home side. David Connell.
Yeah, just coming back to Villa there in terms of their setup. Whenever Southampton have it at the back and, you know, in the middle sort of part of the pitch, they are not pressing whatsoever. You know, can you pick a pass through us? That's what they're saying to Southampton. We're not going to come out and get played around. Can you play through us? And they've done that a few times. They've just done it there.
And here is Ings, excellent ball from him, wide to the left-hand side, and Armstrong cuts back again. It's Romeo with a left-footed shot, and he got right underneath it, high into the sky and onto the tarpaulins behind that goal.
That's a shame, because they worked that really, really well into Walcott. Actually, could have been a free kick. Referee played advantage, worked out to the left-hand side. Armstrong just cut the ball back for Romeo on his left peg, and yeah, that was, I guess, in rugby, it'd probably be a conversion, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. But Romeo is a player who has really been given the opportunity and the room, it must be said so far, to show his quality in the first half.
Yeah, he has. He's been absolutely brilliant. And I know obviously him and Ward-Prowse developed a terrific partnership, but Diallo's come in. He's had an impact on the side as well, so I guess that's nice for Ralph after losing Højbjerg.
But Villa are a young side. They have the youngest average age in the Premier League so far this season. And they're a team which made such a good start away from home. 5 wins and 5 clean sheets in their first 7 away games, but since then they've lost the last 3, and they're under pressure here because Armstrong fastens onto a long ball down the centre ahead of Konsa, but he just stumbles before he plays it wide to Walcott, and Walcott was in an offside position.
Again, I mean, it was unlucky there, but fantastic football to get to that point from Southampton. What they've done really well is when the ball's gone up to the likes of Ollie Watkins, he's got pressure from behind him, you know, one of the centre-halves, for example, and then he's got pressure from in front, whether it's Romeo, that time it was Diallo. Ball comes off his chest, just fractionally, bang, Diallo's on it, they win the ball back, and then they go forward really quickly. And yeah, this is a much improved performance, much better than it was against Arsenal, I've got to say.
When they started that game so well, but Southampton have not scored after half-time in their last 7 games, and they've not scored from open play in their last 6 games, and that will concern Ralph Hasenhüttl, although so many of their goals come via set pieces from James Ward-Prowse. Ings coming very deep to find Walcott, who is challenged by Targett, into the path of Grealish, who flicks it back towards Targett, then goes in behind for the return, but it's a good challenge by Bednarek. Quick throw in though from Targett, finding Grealish on the byline. Back towards Targett again, in towards Watkins, who brings it down superbly. The shot is beaten away by McCarthy, and before Traore can tap into an empty net, it's boomed away by Bednarek.
Yeah, terrific save. This is low down from McCarthy, but what a turn from Watkins. Receives the cross from Matty Targett, turns over his right, and then just tries to drill it into that far corner. Goes through the legs, I think it is, of Stevens, and McCarthy gets down well. Good, really good hand. Maybe if it was half a yard more in the corner, would have been a goal.
Targett clips the ball over the top early again, looking for the run of Barkley. It's cleared, but now Watkins will at least try and win a corner on this near side, but Romeo does really well again to get underneath the high ball and volley it clear.
That touch, you know, from Ollie Watkins was brilliant, wasn't it? On the turn, turned in one moment he's got his back to play, the next his body's open with the ball. Brilliant.
He is every inch a Premier League centre forward already.
Well, he's been quite loose in possession today, but...
Here is Watkins on the edge of the area, wide towards Grealish on the left-hand side. 3-8 for the cross. It's dug out by Grealish. Watkins was almost underneath it, but it's headed away by Bertrand. Luis with a high cross into the penalty area, which is woefully overhit, and it's behind for a goal kick. It's remarkable for Watkins, though, David, that it's only his second season, really, playing as a central striker, because it's only when Mopai was sold by Brentford that Dean Smith and then Thomas Frank played him down the middle.
Yeah, and I did a little scout report on him for TalkSport, you know, real in-depth looking at him, and I really believe in him. You know, I think he's you know, I've watched him for a number of seasons. I mean, I was working with Bristol City, and you know, I think Lee Johnson, we wanted to sign him, but 1.8 million was a little bit too much in those days, and as it is now, I mean, he's obviously taken to the Premier League. I think he's done brilliantly. But here, his hold-up play's been a little bit off. You know, it's just been a tiny bit off, but you know, that little turning shot might give him a bit of confidence.
But he has really symbolised what Dean Smith has done at Aston Villa. Of course, they escaped just about last season, but they've really built on what they achieved in terms of staying up, and with these young, hungry players from the Championship who have really taken the eye, like Matty Cash and Ollie Watkins, and players that Dean Smith knows from his previous time in the Championship. Grealish now with a cross into the penalty area. Barkley's header. It's a brilliant goal for Aston Villa from Ross Barkley. Grealish with the assist, a pinpoint cross, and Barkley arriving late into the penalty area directed that superbly beyond Alex McCarthy, and it's Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1.
What a movement here from Jack Grealish, absolutely outstanding. I mean, he comes short, he just sucks James Ward-Prowse in, then spins him behind, and it's a brilliant cross on the run, on the half volley. Ross Barkley and Akers in between his two centre-halves and the full-back, absolutely brilliant header, back where it came from. And it's actually the movement from Jack Grealish and the technique on the cross. I mean, Barkley stretching for it, but he does ever so well just to try and direct the ball back where it came from. He just wrong-foots McCarthy. Absolutely wonderful header, but it's made by the movement and obviously the cross from Jack Grealish.
He did so well to generate the power to get the ball going back the other way. I know there was pace on the cross, but that sort of header takes real technique.
Absolutely. I think it was Matty Targett that played the ball in behind. They've done that a few times, you know, obviously those two just trying to get the ball in behind. But just before that sort of move, I was going to praise Bednarek, because how many times has Bednarek got across covering to help out Ward-Prowse, and that time he was just too far away, couldn't really help Ward-Prowse, and obviously Grealish with the cross. Great cross.
Ross Barkley has now scored at St Mary's for 3 different clubs in the Premier League: Everton, Chelsea And now Southampton, and Barkley has the ball once again here. He finds Watkins on the edge of the penalty area. One-on-one with Stevens. Watkins with the shot, blocked by Bednarek. Watkins will now continue, fires in the shot towards the near post, and it's saved by McCarthy. But Villa not too far away from a second.
No, but he ducked inside here on his right peg, Watkins, and I think really he should go down the left, but he did that on his first strike at goal and he dragged it wide, you remember? So I think he thought, no, I'll go inside on my right, and actually it wasn't on. The space was down the left-hand side. In the end, his second strike with his left was brilliant, the power in that.
3 minutes to play in the first half. Villa leading here by a goal to nil, and increasingly looking good value for it.
I was going to say as well, I mean, I don't know where Diallo was in terms of picking up Barkley there when he's that runner. You know, one of the midfielders, Romeo or Barkley, you'd probably say Diallo's got to track him.
Traore superbly finds Cash with an early ball into the penalty area, and Watkins was waiting unmarked, but it was blocked at the near post.
Oh, I think Ross Barkley was unmarked as well on the edge. He was the one there, completely free. If Cash gets his head up and spots him.
Well, Southampton in the first half, they'll look back on that VAR check on the penalty, which wasn't given. Well, I think everybody inside the stadium was convinced it should have been a penalty. But Mike Dean at Stockley Park thought elsewhere.
Well, he'll be saying to them now, he's got his hands out, look down, Ralph, he's got his hands down by his sides, like, you know, just calm down, let's just see this out. They're obviously on the run a little bit, being rattled. And what's interesting, look, Ralph, he doesn't have any other staff, I've noticed this. He never has any other staff out with him, you know. He's out there on his own.
Usually that's a sign
show.
Usually that's a sign that managers are rather isolated and things aren't going too well, but it's not the case here, is it?
Well, no, I just think that's how he likes to manage, you know. It's him, it's his voice. You know, as you look at Villa, they always have, you know, whether it's, I don't know, like Shakespeare or, you know, there'll be
John Terry.
Yeah, it'll be someone out there Dean will be talking to, consulting, but you don't really see that with him, very rarely. I don't know how much involvement, you know, the rest of the staff, I'm sure they do, but on a match day, I think it's definitely like, you stay there and I'm here.
Yeah. And he stood there with those very tight tracksuit bottoms on and
the calves that you would die for, yeah, those ones.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
producer Carl.
I'm sure Jack Grealish is looking at them and thinking, oh, I'm quite impressed there. Here is Redmond with a shot for Southampton on the edge of the penalty area, which is blocked, and Villa will clear. If we had Shaqiri here, we'd have the three best set of calves in the Premier League. Anyway, 40 seconds to play in the first half here. Villa leading by a goal to nil, and they could be moving above both Arsenal and Chelsea if they win this game. Chelsea, of course, playing live on TalkSport tomorrow. Noon kick-off at home to Burnley. And Arsenal drawing 0-0 against Manchester United in our 5:30 commentary over on TalkSport. Newcastle winning 2-0 at Everton in the early kick-off, and then 1-0 wins this afternoon for both Crystal Palace and Manchester City. As a driven ball from Diallo was claimed comfortably by Emi Martinez, and both West Brom and Fulham led in their game at the Hawthorns, but it finished 2-2. Well, the numbers board suggests we have 11 minutes of added time in the first half, but I think it's just the one. Our fourth official, Tim Robinson, gives his board a cursory look as a long ball is played forward for Villa again. Traore almost won it from Bertrand, but it's cleared away up towards the halfway line, and Romeo. Jack Grealish now has 6 goals and 9 assists in the Premier League this season. Only Kane and De Bruyne have registered more assists.
I mean,
he's in that sort of company.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we said at the start, didn't we? You know, it's exactly the company he's in, and it's whether Villa can grow with Grealish. That's the challenge. You know, does he outgrow them?
Well, at the moment, they're a team who are heading for the top 8 once again in the Premier League. Is he a top 4 player? Many people would say he is. You say he is.
That's how I feel.
Well, that is half time. It's Aston Villa who do lead. 2 key moments in the first half. The VAR call which went in Villa's favour. Matty Cash striking the ball with his hand inside the penalty area, but Mike Dean at Stockley Park deciding the ball had brushed his thigh following a shot from Stuart Armstrong, and the call went in Villa's favour, no penalty. And then just before half time, excellent goal on the break, Grealish with the cross, and Ross Barkley with an unmarked header which completely wrong-footed Alex McCarthy. And at half time it is Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1. Thank you, Will. And it's Southampton who are about to get the second half underway here, trailing by a goal to nil. And they've not scored in their previous 7 Premier League games after half-time, so they have a record to overcome there. Their team is McCarthy in goal, Diallo, Bednarek, Stevens and Bertrand the back 4. Walcott, Romeo, Ward-Prowse and Armstrong, with Redmond supported by Ings. The Villa side, Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, Mings and Target. Luis and McGinn holding in midfield, Traore, Barkley and Grealish behind Watkins. And looking at the Saints bench, I suppose the question is when or if Che Adams comes on, David.
Yeah, absolutely, and whether they might mix their wingers up, I don't know, whether they'd put Redmond wide or, Adams up top and then a little shift around in terms of the wide men. So, yeah, I guess that will happen at some point. Certainly if it stays like this, Because we just haven't really seen Ings, have we? He hasn't really been in the game. He had that brilliant little bit of skill in the box, but apart from that, he's really starved of possession.
There's a throw in for Southampton, midway inside the Villa half on the far side. Saints playing from right to left in their red shirts with the white sash, black shorts and red socks, and Aston Villa in their change kit, which is black shirts, sky blue shorts and black socks, and they continue to make progress through a series of throw-ins down the right-hand side. Now Romeo takes over, a high ball into the penalty area, and it's claimed unchallenged by Emi Martinez, who from a Southampton point of view wasn't worked enough, was he?
No, not in that first half, no, but look, they had a few promising attacks, Southampton, they really did, and worked it ever so well. You can see, their shape, how it can break sides down, but maybe didn't quite have the final end product, but their approach play, some of it was really good.
Now Mings plays it back towards Martinez, who clears long downfield. It's flicked on by the goal scorer Barkley. The Villa have given the ball away, but Diallo's ball forward is a poor one. It's way beyond either Redmond or Ings, and one bounce out of play, and Diallo's not really been at it so far tonight.
No, I think he lost Barkley for the goal, and Redmond's just pointing to his feet there to Diallo, saying, look, there's no point trying to put it in the air over Tyrone Mings. I mean, that's not going to work. He went long and then he wants it feet. And I think that's what he's just indicating to Diallo. Give it to me, wrap it into my feet there, and then I can go 1v1 around the box.
47 minutes played, Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1 here. On game day exclusive on TalkSport 2, as Villa have given the ball away cheaply. Romeo charging forward now. Ings inside the penalty area, back to goal. Back towards Diallo, and now wide towards Armstrong. Diallo continues his run. It's a better cross this time, driven low into the 6-yard area, and Ezri Konsa steps in before his goalkeeper to divert the ball behind for a corner.
Yeah, and he says to his goalkeeper, what are you doing? When he has a goal kick, and it's an awful kick out, and Villa just try and rescue it then. Romeo picks it up, brilliant feet again from Romeo to get out of trouble, lay the ball into Wings, and actually his first touch just took him backwards, and that sort of killed the attack. But all starts in Martinez, which is what Konsa's saying, come on, do better with your distribution.
First corner which James Ward-Prowse has been able to take, an in-swinger on this near side, the Southampton right, and it's delivered into the 6-yard area, and in the end it's given away by Traore to Diallo. Ings with a shot which is blocked by Mings, and the ball will rebound up towards the halfway line, but it's recovered by Bertrand. Ward-Prowse audaciously flicks it back towards this near side and Armstrong, and now Romeo finds Diallo. One-touch play from the Saints, the ball never hitting the ground before Armstrong plays it wide towards Ward-Prowse again, still operating on the left-hand side following the earlier corner. Back towards Bertrand again. Bertrand will take his man on, drifts in a high cross, which in the end just about goes over the top at the far post.
Yeah, you've said Ming Ings a few times today, haven't you? That was Ming Ings.
is that a comment on my commentary?
But that ball was Ming Ings from Bertrand there, just over the top.
Yeah, Mings been tangling with Ings, which is never easy for the commentator. Both, of course, players who were at Bournemouth at stages in their career.
I mean, that ball in from Ward-Prowse caused problems, didn't it? And you wonder why. That's the first in-swinger we've seen. And they have conceded at the back post from corners, Villa, so not surprised. Well, I am surprised that they haven't used Ward-Prowse more.
And there's a head injury on the far side for Ward-Prowse, so players just halted for a second by Lee Mason, the referee. But the medical team is waved away. Of course, Villa were a goal up at Burnley, live on TalkSport 2 on Wednesday evening, and ended up losing that game 3-2 despite leading twice. And they're a side who just need a solid away victory just to re-establish themselves on the road after such a good start to the season away from home. Of course, they dropped points at Villa Park with those back-to-back home defeats against Leeds and Southampton when they conceded 7 goals in those 2 games. But it's been a very impressive body of work overall from both sides, really. But Southampton would be concerned if they don't come back into this game that things may just be drifting away, and Ralph Hasenhüttl has made it clear that 1 or 2 players aren't up to standard in his view, as Diallo plays it wide to Bertrand, a low cross into the penalty area. Redmond with the shot. It was Ings who was in the way once again, and he's done that on so many occasions so far, Tyrone Mings. Now Barkley has given it straight to Romeo on the edge of the penalty area, and he challenges Romeo, and he's given away a free kick in exactly the sort of area from where James Ward-Prowse scored twice at Villa Park.
Absolutely, really good attack here. Lovely little cutback ball, and there's Redmond on his left peg. Great block from Mings. Eventually falls to Romeo and Barkley on the edge of the box. And look, you're not going to outmuscle Romeo. He is so strong. He just eases Barkley out, just takes the contact and then goes to ground.
David Connolly and Nigel Adderley here for TalkSport 2 at St Mary's, where Aston Villa lead by 1-0. And there is a committee over the free kick for Southampton, but surely there is only one taker.
Yeah, obviously Bertrand's not going to be on this, but, you know, wonder what they do here differently. Obviously, what Douglas Luiz in behind the wall. I've very rarely seen Ward-Prowse go under the wall.
I would have somebody stood on the post on this near side, because that's where the ball went in twice, wasn't it?
It's just whether they just do this and drop players, and we've done this before, you know, you start in line with the wall, but defensively you drop back onto the post really quickly. Wonder whether they might try that.
Ward-Prowse scored 2 stunning free kicks in the win at Villa Park. He strikes this right-footed low into the wall, and it ricochets wide towards Walcott on the far side. He's then challenged by Cash. Ward-Prowse will try and win it back, and in the end he loses out on the far side to Watkins. Watkins looks to take a quick throw in, and Ward-Prowse put his arms up and blocked it. That's deliberate handball.
Yeah, and that's what the Villa players are saying, you know. And actually, he tried to go around the wall this time, Ward-Prowse, and they did try and get Matty Target back on the line. In the end, it went straight into the body of one of the Villa defenders.
It was Gonsa.
Yeah, good defending. But here, as Watkins takes it quick, Ward-Prowse puts his arm up, and that is a handball. I don't know what Lee Mason's waiting for. He's finally, he's booked him.
Yellow card has been shown to James Ward-Prowse.
So he's on a bit of a that old catchphrase, on a bit of a tightrope, isn't he, against Grealish now with a booking.
We've been poring over the laws of the game, over the handball in the first half. If you weren't with us on TalkSport 2, there was a shot from Stuart Armstrong. Matty Cash clearly put his hand out towards the ball. The ball may have brushed him on the thigh, then struck him on the hand. It went to VAR. Mike Dean said it was no penalty because the ball struck his thigh before hitting his hand. We'll go back to that in a second. Here is McGinn for Villa, wide towards the far side again, the left, but Target is closed down by Ward-Prowse, and it will be a throw-in to Aston Villa. And the laws say it's not a penalty if the ball hits a part of your body, then hits you on the hand, but if it's deliberate handball, which it seems it was from Cash, then surely that takes that out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's it. I mean, obviously we heard from Will at half-time in terms of the Robin Cochran earlier in the season at Leeds, where it was, you know, came off his thigh, hand, it was given as a penalty, and whether things have changed since then. The laws
they seem to have taken that out from the law.
Yeah.
You know, if the ball, it depends where your hand is. I mean, if your hand can be down by your body. If it strikes your thigh and then onto your hand, then that's not a penalty. But if your hand's outstretched 3 yards from the goal, then I'm not sure any of us know anymore. Here's a throw in for Southampton. We played 54 minutes here on TalkSport 2. Villa lead by 1-0. And I suppose Aston Villa would look back on 1 or 2 decisions they've had against them in recent weeks and think, well, things probably do even themselves out over a season for them.
He has said that, hasn't he, Dean Smith? He cited 4 games, didn't he? You know, decision making has gone against them.
Well, that Manchester City one has led to clarification in the laws, which means it wouldn't be allowed. So
maybe it does even now then. Should we just not have VAR and just, like the olden days, even itself out over the season?
Here is Bertrand. Now Armstrong for Southampton down the left-hand side. Diallo in a central area, plays it wide, looking for Bertrand. And
his final pass has been so poor today, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
another overhit.
And the ball actually strikes the foot of the corner flag on this near side and ricochets out of play for a throw-in for Aston Villa, which Matty Cash will take. Player, of course, who has stepped up from Nottingham Forest and performed extremely well for Aston Villa in a position which had become a problem for them in recent times. El Mohammadi with a clearance long downfield. Or rather, El Mohammadi is one of the players who plays out right back, of course, in the past. And here is Cash now, looking for Watkins. Watkins brings the ball down on his thigh, challenged by Romeu. And here is Bertrand for Southampton. And we've played 11 minutes in the second half, and they're not offering a huge amount.
No, but you just mentioned Romeu. I think he's been the best player on the pitch. He's been absolutely brilliant. I think he's on the losing team at the minute, but he doesn't deserve to be. It's just his midfield partner, Diallo, I think, you know, if Romeu's been an 8 and a 9, I think Diallo's been a 4 or 5 out of 10. You know, he's really got to step it up. He's got to retain that ball, be much more secure in his passing. Otherwise, he might as well put Ward Prowse in there and put a proper right back in.
56 minutes play on a Baltic night on the south coast. Aston Villa still leading this game by a goal to nil, and Barkley, who scored their goal, turns well and finds Grealish, who comes in field from the left-hand side into the penalty area, wide towards target, low ball into the 6-yard box, and it was Stevens who was there at the near post to sweep the ball away, and Villa now have a throw-in on the far side.
He's been such a threat, hasn't he, Matty Target's obviously enjoying coming back to Southampton. I mean, Grealish worked really well. I mean, now, Diallo's gone down now.
Diallo was down on the edge of the penalty area, and a couple of members of Southampton's medical team go out to have a look at him.
Well, that could be the sign, I think, for Shay Adams. A little bit of a rejig here, whether Ward Prowse will go in, maybe, I don't know, in the middle of the park, and they shift things around.
They Redmond in the wide area, or three up top even, I suppose, as they're chasing the game, but maybe it's slightly too early for that. And you're listening to Southampton against Aston Villa on TalkSport 2 with Now TV. Don't forget, you can watch this game live right now with Now TV and the Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. Diallo is still down inside the penalty area, away to our right-hand side. It looks to be the right ankle which is causing the problem.
He was a bit slow in recovering there, which he didn't have that issue in the first half when he was slow tracking Barkley for the goal, but he was a bit slow. I mean, Romeu outworked him there, actually ran past him when I was looking at him. Because sometimes I'm looking at the ball, and other times, I think, you know, for Grealish's assist, I wasn't actually looking at who passed the ball to Grealish. I couldn't, you know, I was looking at Grealish's movement. It's so hard, you know, Nigel, isn't it, when you're looking at a game, looking at the ball, looking off the ball, and at times you miss things, but just a little look at Diallo there, and Romeu just ran straight past him. And, you know, without the ball, it's so important. You know, you've got to track your runners, you've got to put that work in, but maybe there's something wrong with him. Maybe he was injured.
Well, he's coming across towards this near side, and there's a shake of the head from Ibrahima Diallo. And it's Gineppo, the player who is coming on to replace him for now, so there won't be an opportunity for Shay Adams to be reunited with Danny Ings.
Or maybe Gineppo might go wide, or whether Armstrong will come inside, something like that. Just to wait and see.
Well, Gineppo's not played since the victory against Liverpool on the 4th of January. Southampton have had 1 win, 3 draws and 3 defeats after that run of 7 wins in 10 games. And they've dropped from 3rd to 11th in the table. And as things stand, they won't be beginning their revival here tonight because they trail by a goal to nil.
Yeah, looks like Armstrong's just slotted in alongside Romeu. Gineppo out wide on his left-hand side.
Goal scoring has become such a problem for them recently. 3 goals in 7 games since that 3-0 win over Sheffield United.
Oh, he's now moved Gineppo over. Armstrong's now come over to this left-hand side. We'll have to wait and see how this shapes up.
Well, Walcott is on the right, and then it's Redmond and Ings as two central strikers at the moment. So in possession, it's almost a 4-2-4 for Southampton as they have to do some defending here, and Bednarek is penalised for bowling over Ollie Watkins, and it's a free kick for Aston Villa about 30 yards from goal, right of centre. Watkins again offers real nuisance value around the penalty area for Aston Villa.
Yeah, think about all those games he might not have scored in, but the work he puts in, you know, for those around him, terrific.
Well, he scored 10 times for Aston Villa so far, which is a pretty good return in your first Premier League season at the halfway stage. Barkley with the free kick, and it's a free header which is wide for Watkins, and he looks across towards the assistant, and he'll be relieved the flag has been raised.
Yeah, not the cleanest of contacts this. I mean, they are offside. They all start offside hoping this Saints line drops, or that they get back onside before the ball's put in, but they're not. There's about 4 of them offside, and yeah, Watkins just flashes that header wide.
Villa still lead here by a goal to nil. Early today, Everton 0, Newcastle 2 in the first Talk Sport commentary of the day. Also, Palace beat Wolves by a goal to nil. Manchester City overcame Sheffield United by the same score, and it was 2-2 between West Brom and Fulham as Watkins looks to play in Grealish on the left-hand side, but the pass was just deflected away from Grealish at the crucial moment, and Romeo recovers to make the challenge.
Well, he did. It was brilliant play there from Watkins, but actually if he got his head up, Truro was completely free at the back post. He actually went for the wrong pass, selected the wrong option there.
It was also goalless between Arsenal and Manchester United. Earlier on today on TalkSport 2 in game day, it was goalless as well between the Championship leaders Norwich and Middlesbrough. Emi Buendia was also sent off in that game, and Norwich finished without a shot on target as Theo Walcott is down injured now on the edge of the penalty area, and Che Adams is coming on.
Yeah.
So injuries are really hampering the Saints' progress early in the second half here. 17 minutes played, and they still trail by that goal to nil.
I mean, look at Villa now. Look, they got, you know, sometimes too many cooks, but they've got full staff out there, haven't they? You know, in terms of trying to affect things and what they're doing with the game. And I mean, Ralph's joined now by one member of staff, but he does like to be out there on his own. That's his style. And you know, some managers are different, aren't they? Some like to be out there on their own, and others are pretty quick to have that network, those coaches in and around them to sound off.
Well, of course, the two central defenders for Villa are talking to John Terry, which is not a bad man to take some advice from. Mings and Conser have just briefly come across to this near side.
That obviously might be, you know, in terms of, look, Shadams is coming on, you know that he's going to, you know, especially what he likes to do, Shadams, obviously he'll hold it up, he'll bring people into play, but he does work the outside of the defenders, you know, takes them down the line, works the outside of the box really, really well. He's obviously strong, powerful, he's quick, intelligent, got good movement, so it's a different sort of threat to them. He's a centre forward. He's a centre forward, which, you know, so far they faced up there hasn't been two natural centre forwards. Obviously Ings is one, but they're now going to have two.
And as a former Birmingham player, he'll always be motivated against Aston Villa, although he failed to score in 6 second city derbies. I remember him striking the inside of a post at Villa Park in the last game played there between those two. But Adams will be on shortly, and he's also 8 games without a goal for Southampton after a really good start to the season. Had a goal disallowed in the corresponding game at Villa Park, and at that time he was on fire. And Walcott makes a very slow progress across the pitch towards this near side. And Gineppo, of course, has come on for Diallo, and now Walcott will be replaced by Adams, and already Adams is having words with Danny Ings.
Well, and sometimes, you know, as can happen, you can have a bit of a disjointed performance, you know, once you have a lot of changes, and not just changes but people moving positionally as well, formation wise.
Well, Armstrong has dropped to the left hand side of midfield with Ward-Prowse now in a central area, so there are more square pegs in square holes now for Southampton. Conser rises above Adams to head the ball clear, and then Bednarek with a high foot on Watkins, who did actually stoop in to try and head that ball forward, and I think that's the point that Ralph Hasenhüttl was briefly making towards Lee Mason, the referee.
Yeah. I've been on the wrong end of quite a few of these. You take it in on your chest or on your face, and actually that happened to me, exact same thing in training at Sunderland with Johnny Evans from behind, and he kicked my 2 front teeth out. That was almost carbon copy. I think Ollie Watkins, he got away with that. He's lucky. That's nothing. That's a mere flesh wound. He's fine.
Consu will take it. Drives the free kick wide towards the far side. The target heads it into the penalty area, and here is Grealish now towards the byline, pulls it back, and Romeo again with a really important intervention for the Saints to send the ball behind for a corner.
Right place, right time, but do you know what? If Ollie Watkins hadn't just had a blow in the face, I think he would have been there, because he was a little bit sluggish, just catching up with play. Brilliant from Grealish to go down the line, then he cut it back to probably where Watkins might be if he hadn't just had that kick in the face. As it is, he's probably 10 yards deeper than Romeo.
65 minutes played, corner to Aston Villa on the far side, looking for the second goal here, which could be the clinching goal. The corner towards the near post is headed away by Armstrong, returned by Douglas Luiz towards the penalty area, and all the way back now towards Cash on this near side. Traore swings a high ball from right to left, looking for Grealish, but it's Armstrong who cuts it out, and now there could be space and time for Redmond to attack on the far side, the Southampton right. Ings makes the run down the channel with Adams holding his position on this near side, the Saints left. Short towards Ward-Prowse, and now back again towards Bednarek, and here is Bertrand on the left. But Aston Villa,
well, they're putting a bit more of
very good shape.
They're putting a bit more of a press on, aren't they, in terms of the second half? You know, they've got the lead, but they're pressing much higher than they were in the first half. There was no way they'd be this high if it was still 0-0, but obviously they've sort of maybe they see a wounded animal here that they can get after them, whereas in the first half very cagey at 0-0.
66 minutes played on TalkSport 2, game day exclusive from St Mary's, where Aston Villa lead by a goal to 0. Ross Barkley in the first half looking to move back up to 8th in the table. They'll still have games in hand on many of the teams above them. Here is Ward-Prowse for Southampton. Now Armstrong finding Bertrand on the overlap left-hand side. Cash though with another good block inside the penalty area. 2 Villa players collide, and in the end a free kick has been given by Lee Mason, and 2 or 3 Southampton players are very irate because they believe the Villa player went down because he collided with his own player.
Yeah, it looked a little bit like that, but it's a really good move from Southampton. First time we really seen Shay Adams on the ball, takes it in, retains it, spreads it, the ball ends up out wide. Armstrong uses the overlapping run of Bertrand, and in the end a little sort of coming together, but I can't see anything wrong with that. I don't know why that's been given Villa's way. Maybe a little shove from Armstrong, but that was nothing.
Marginal.
Yeah.
You're listening to Southampton against Aston Villa on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Don't part exchange, get money off your next car and go to WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Well, that's such a shame there to call that back, because Emi Martinez, he's got a free kick here. He's just a couple of yards inside his own box. Jack Grealish, there's 21 players on one side of the pitch, and there's Jack Grealish all on his own on the other side, and he reversed it, Martinez, brilliantly to him in acres of space, but now obviously Gineppo's just found out a little bit wider just to stop that.
Aston Villa winless in their 8 previous meetings with Southampton since a 3-2 win here back in December of 2013 when Fabian Delph scored the winning goal, but they're leading by a goal to 0. Saints have won the last 4 games, their best run since the 1980s against Dean Smith's side. The game has got rather scrappy in the second half. Southampton have been disrupted by injuries, but are just looking to hang in there and catch them out on the counter-attackers. Traore leaps with Armstrong, and Traore went down, and in the end a free kick has been given to Southampton. We welcome listeners to TalkSport 2 St Mary's, where it's still 1-0 to Aston Villa here. The header from Ross Barkley late in the first half, dispatching an excellent cross from Jack Grealish. And Villa have had 1 or 2 opportunities in the second half to make the game safe. Ollie Watkins has been busy around the penalty area. Southampton have been disrupted by injuries. Shay Adams has now come on to partner Danny Ings up front, and Bertrand plays a free kick into the penalty area on this near side, which is cleared as far as Gineppo, who also came on to replace Diallo. Now Ings is threading it through towards Adams. The shot is blocked, and then Adams looks to put the rebound in, and somehow it was blocked inside the 6-yard area, and Southampton inches away from the equaliser.
Oh, what a chance. This is a brilliant little move from Southampton. Ings with a lovely little cut-back ball, straight ball, diagonal run from Che Adams. He opens his body, goes to his right peg. I think if he takes this with his left and just let loose, I think it'll be a goal. In the end, it's a really good save and block from Villa, but fantastic bit of play here from Danny Ings. Spots the run of Adams, little diagonal pass. There it is, in behind. Che Adams opens his body out. If he goes with his left, I think the score in the end opens out on his right, and it's a nice height for the goalkeeper.
Corner for Southampton on this near side, which James Ward-Prowse will take. It's an in-swinger high into the penalty area. Mings will head the ball away. Armstrong will try and win it back for Southampton, and he goes all the way back to Ryan Bertrand, who in turn plays in Alex McCarthy. Commentary continuing over on TalkSport 2 as Ward-Prowse with a run into the penalty area, and the cross is deflected behind for another corner. Join us on TalkSport 2 for the remainder of this game. With 19 minutes to play, it is Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1. And Ward-Prowse will take another corner for the Saints, pushing hard now for the equalising goal with more pace up front. Another in-swinger from Ward-Prowse. Ings heads it up in the air right underneath the crossbar, and the ball is fired in, but not before a free kick's been given for a foul on Emi Martinez.
Yeah, what I would say is, Southampton put 4, then eventually Romeo went in box 5 against all 11 Villa players. It's very congested in there, outnumbered 2v1 more or less, and they had a ring of about 3 or 4 players on the edge of the box, Saints, but maybe they could just pile another 1 or 2 in there.
Watching on the monitor the shot for Che Adams again, and it was Matty Cash with a goal-saving challenge as Adams looked to put the loose ball into the back of the net. And it's been a frustrating evening for the Saints. That VAR penalty call going against them in the first half. Just before half-time they conceded the opening goal, and since then they've been chasing the game. Now Redmond, and support from Gineppo on the outside down the right. Che Adams waits in the centre as Gineppo is felled by target, is he? Well, the corner kick's been given. No foul seen by Lee Mason, but Southampton have another opportunity to put pressure on Emi Martinez.
Yeah, and Ward-Prowse just turned around to Ryan Bertrand and said, do you want this one? Or because this will be an in-swinger for Ryan from this side, but no, Ward-Prowse is taking it. I just think they could maybe put another body or two, because Villa got all 11 back, and Saints have got 4 outside ringing the box. I think they could afford to put another 1 or at least 1 more in the box attacking this.
Ward-Prowse will take it, and it's an outswing headed away by Grealish. Gineppo leaves the ball for Bertrand on the edge of the penalty area, and McGinn almost brings it clear, and now McGinn was nearly away there, but he's penalised for just nudging Gineppo on the halfway line. And from Southampton's point of view, it's a good job that free kick was given, because otherwise McGinn would have been clean through.
Yeah, Gineppo made a right mess of that, but he got away with it in the end.
Was there a free kick there? It did seem that both
probably. I'll probably say it was probably the right call.
Here is Redmond now, wide on the right-hand side. The cross from Ward-Prowse. Ings was straining for the header, but it's cleared away, and now the break is on for Aston Villa. It's Grealish right down the centre, Watkins to the right-hand side. Barkley waits at the far post. Watkins comes in field and then runs into Romeo.
You don't want to do that, do you?
It's been a one-man wrecking crew at times for Southampton, but now Watkins, working hard, has won it back from Gineppo. Here is Douglas Luiz, plays the 1-2 at Traore for Aston Villa, wide on this near side with 16 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1 the scoreline. As Traore is halted by Romeo once again. 2 former Chelsea players in direct opposition, and Armstrong has found Adams now for Southampton, and he clips the ball across the field from left to right to find Gineppo once again.
Oh, Danny Ings, he's really frustrated. He thinks Adams should have put him in there.
But here is Redmond inside the penalty area, back to Armstrong, right foot shot, is curled wide of the near post.
Yeah, I mean, real frustration here from Danny Ings, because he makes a similar sort of run. You know, he wants a straight ball. He's made a terrific diagonal run, a bit like, you know, the pass he laid to Adams when he had the chance. He wants a return ball, but instead Adams then goes wide to Gineppo, and you can see immediately Ings is frustrated. I should have had that ball there. I'll be inside the box, 1v1, you know, with my defender, and, you know, that's a good opportunity missed, certainly for Danny Ings.
Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1, still the latest score. Let's check the latest odds with 888 Sport. Southampton are currently available at 19.0. The draw is 4.5. Villa are 1.25 to win this game. Those are the latest odds from 888 Sport. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly. As a shot for Aston Villa, snakes just wide of the post. The flag was raised for offside in the end. It was Bertrand Traoré with the effort, but the shot would not have counted. Yeah, another offside, and you know, we said they had quite a few in the first half. Watkins this time lays it on a plate to Traoré, just drags it wide, but he's offside, Watkins, and if they could just refine their runs a little bit, just make sure they stay onside that front unit, give themselves more of a chance of scoring goals, that's for sure. Villa closing in on what would be a hard-earned away victory here, and it would be their 6th of the season. They won only 2 matches on the road in the whole of the entire campaign 12 months ago. Now Redmond finding Bertrand for Southampton on this near side. Armstrong plays it back towards Ward-Prowse, who's got space and time to pick out a runner. He finds Ings on the edge of the penalty area. Right foot shot from him. It was a typical Danny Ings effort, looking to shake the ball towards the far post, but it was too close to Emi Martinez. Yeah, he just actually had McGinn that closed him down, then he had to jink inside again. And that's the sort of passes that he wants, you know, rather than, you know, Ward-Prowse going wide again. That's what he wanted from Adams. He wanted that ball into the front, but maybe he was a little bit too far out from goal there. Danny Ings' goals have been worth 9 points on their own to Southampton so far this season. Oh, they played that blind. And now the back pass was played towards Martinez. Ings was closing him down, and Martinez just happy to hoof the ball away, and Danny Ings has head in hands on the edge of the area because he knows he was almost in. Well, it's an awful back pass here from Tyrone Mings. He doesn't look, he just plays it blind, and actually Ings nearly gets on the end of it. Got to be careful there, Mings. He just didn't have a look at all. Didn't know what was behind him. Just took a guess that that's where Martinez was. Danny Ings is off and running down the centre again. Gineppo finds him, chested off to Adams, who tries to lay it wide first time for Armstrong, but it's broken up by Villa once again. Here is Bertrand. Now Adams back towards Romeu. Redmond, who's been quiet in the second half, loses out, and then Romeu tries to sweep it wide to the right-hand side for Gineppo, then apologises to all of his teammates as the ball goes straight out of play, and we have just over 12 minutes to play here. That's St Mary's on TalkSport 2 in this game day exclusive from the Premier League. Villa leading by 1-0 at the top of the Championship today. Goalless for Norwich at home to Middlesbrough. Swansea closed the gap with a 3-1 win at Rotherham, and Brentford beat Wycombe 7-2. And it's Swansea against Norwich, live on TalkSport 2, 8:15 next Friday. Hull have replaced Lincoln at the top of League 1, and Cambridge are 3 points clear at the top of League 2, although 5 points cover the top 7 in that division. Now Target with a long ball forward for Aston Villa once again. Watkins is off and running down the left-hand side. Infield towards Barkley on the edge of the penalty area. Barkley just hung on to the ball too long, but it breaks kindly from McGinn. And here was an opportunity for Grealish to come inside once again, but the challenge comes in from Redmond, and Villa may have to do some backtracking here because Redmond has been found by Adams over the halfway line. Further forward to Ings, who is offside. Oh, he just actually had a little bump here. He actually just wanted the pass a little bit delayed because he was offside. Then at the time he's trying to get back onside, and Saints could have done been a little bit cuter there with that pass. I think it might have been Redmond eventually when he plays the ball. I mean, he must know there. Ings is just offside. He's just got carried up the ball. Another fraction. Let Ings get back onside, then play it. But it's a free kick for Aston Villa, and they're just looking to wind down the clock now with 11 minutes to play. Jack Grealish and Ross Barkley have combined for the only goal so far. Grealish continuing what's been a very impressive season from him, and two big games coming up for Aston Villa following this one, at home to both West Ham and Arsenal. Two sides who are around them in the chase for the European places. For Southampton, things won't get any easier. They are away to both Manchester United and then Newcastle coming up in the Premier League, along with that FA Cup tie against Wolves at Molineux. McGinn looks to run the ball clear on this near side. He's challenged by Adams. McGinn has gone down and stayed down off the pitch, so Southampton will continue here.
I think that came off McGinn, actually. Could have been it is a Saints. Yeah, they got the right call there. It's a Saints throw.
And McGinn limping back onto the field of play. And I wonder if he'll go down again, but no, he stays on his feet. And Stevens goes all the way back towards McCarthy once again. Don't forget, Friday morning, 4 a.m. Set your alarms for the start of the India against England Test Series, live from Chennai. Exclusive to TalkSport 2. The Test matches and the one-day internationals. And it should be a great series with both teams enjoying victories away from home. England in Sri Lanka and India, of course, in Australia in the build-up to this series. And you can hear the coverage, advert-free, only on TalkSport 2 from Friday morning.
Well, for Villa, they'll just be hoping they can see this out. That's where they need the likes of Watkins working really hard, which he is doing off the ball, trying to win back possession.
Here is Gineppo. A couple of step-overs from him down the far side. The Saints right runs into target, and the ball bobbles behind for a goal kick. And too many of the Saints' game changers haven't quite sparked, have they?
No, and I think Matty Targett's been absolutely magnificent. He really has. He's had a great game. Obviously, not just the little pass to Grealish for the goal, but just overall his distribution, his passing to release and pick out players defensively. It's been superb. Stopped whatever threat there's been down that right-hand side.
Emi Martinez will clear downfield once again, and we have 8 minutes to play at St Mary's here on TalkSport 2. PGA Golf coming up at the end of this game. The Farmers Insurance Open from Torrey Pines in San Diego, and I would imagine it's a good deal warmer there than it is here on the south coast, as Gineppo plays a ball forward blind straight to Douglas Luiz, and Watkins flicks on for Barkley, who plays it wide to the left-hand side looking for Grealish, and Gineppo recovers his previous error just to loft the ball out of play, and Villa will have a throw-in midway inside the Saints half. Yeah,
and just his goalkeeping coach just giving Emi Martinez a little clap there, and Martinez looks back over and he knows, little things like that is important. Distribution, putting the ball where you want it, right in the Saints half, putting them under pressure, a deep kick.
And Romeo once again gathers on the edge of the Saints penalty area, clears as far as McGinn, wide towards target, lofted down the line, and Grealish will get there before Romeo this time. May need support, but then a lovely turn from Grealish. Silky stuff inside the penalty area. Traore with the shot, and he slipped as he hit it left-footed, and it bobbles through towards Alex McCarthy.
Wow, what a turn this is from Jack Grealish. When he just drops his shoulder and just leaves Romeo to the dust. Terrific, skips past him, drives into the box. Lovely little cutback ball to Traore. Just to finish though, didn't quite have the power, but brilliant from Grealish again.
Now Redmond once again for Southampton over the halfway line, and support from Gineppo on the outside. Adams, Armstrong and Ings all wait on the edge of the penalty area. It's wide towards Gineppo at walking pace. Here is Ward-Prowse. Stevens will spread it wide towards this near side and Bertrand. Ings very quickly takes over, and now Romeo plays it forward, a back heel from Bertrand. Ings inside the area. Adams now will try and turn the shot from Redmond, rifled in with power left-footed, and it's deflected over the top for a corner.
Oh, what an opportunity. I mean, brilliant little flick this is from Bertrand into Ings. Lovely little interlink play on the edge of the box. It's actually the return pass from Danny Ings. He's slightly ahead of Bertrand. He was the intended target, and if it was, he's got a free shot about 8 yards out. In the end, a little clearance from Ings falls to Redmond. Little deflection, goes over the bar.
Ward-Prowse will take the corner. It's an in-swing high into the 6-yard area. Flicked on, it's a brilliant save. Bednarek's header was stopped. Then Stevens' shot is cleared off the line. Fantastic from Emi Martinez there. The flick header from Bednarek, and Martinez twisting his back to make the save, and now Watkins looking to capitalise on that, breaking away on the left-hand side, and Grealish has been cleaned out by Bertrand, and it's a free kick for Aston Villa.
Yeah, brilliant save. This is, I mean, they've conceded a couple of goals, haven't they, Villa, from set pieces, Burnley to name one of them. Lovely ball in from Ward-Prowse, little flicked header, terrific save for Martinez, looked destined for that back post, that far corner. Who was it? Bednarek with the flicked header at the near, yeah.
And then it was Stevens with the shot, well, two shots actually, Adams with the first effort, and then Bednarek with the second, and it was
Matty Cash
on the goal line.
Yeah.
The closer Southampton have come in the game, with 5 minutes to play. And we'll have reaction from both camps, which you'll hear across the TalkSport network following this game. Southampton pushing hard for the equalising goal, but now Grealish has been fouled by Gineppo, and it's a free kick for Villa midway inside the Saints half on the far side, the left, as Grealish just readjusts the Alice band and gets up to take it. He leaves it in the end for Bertrand Traoré, and a goal now for Aston Villa, and that surely is that. It will be their first win at St Mary's for 8 years.
Well, I don't know why he's putting it in the box here, because Mings has stayed back. You know, Constance's gone up, but
Bertrand with the free kick, and Stevens with an initial clearance, and eventually it's boomed away. Mings is on the halfway line, launches it high and wide towards the left-hand side again. Grealish brings it down, flicks it in field towards Barkley. Barkley will try and break into the area, then he fouls Gineppo, and it's a free kick for Southampton.
Yeah, not much has gone Barkley's way. He's made a couple of those, hasn't he? You know, foul challenges. He did one against Romeo and others. Gineppo this time, unnecessary really. You know, don't give those fouls away. Just keep the ball alive without making a foul.
Southampton's inability to score in the second half of games will shortly be extended to 8 in the Premier League, although they were desperately unlucky. It was good defending from Villa, the save from Martinez, and then two shots blocked. McGinn with the first one to deny Adams, and then Cash was in the way to keep out Stevens.
Well, Romeo's just come over to Ralph Hassel. I don't know what he said there, but whether he's not right, or you know, he's something wrong with him, he don't feel well, or he's struggling. First game back, he might have cramp, I don't know what it is, but he's put a lot of work in here, Romeo, and he's given a signal that if it's him or somebody else, that, you know, they need to make a change. It might be him.
Alexander Jankovic is coming on.
Yeah.
The teenager, the Swiss under-21 international. Here is Ings, though, for Southampton. Lofted wide towards the far side. Armstrong will challenge with Target. Target wins the header, but Gineppo delivers it deep to the far post, where it's gathered by Emi Martinez, and then dramatically he crumples to the turf.
Yeah, he fakes to deliver the ball, and then he realises, hang on a minute, we're 1-0 up, a couple of minutes to go, I'm just going to drop on the floor and waste a vital few seconds.
But his save from Bednarek, absolutely crucial late in this game.
Yeah, and I think those goals against Burnley, you know, we could have done a little bit better with two of them, certainly, and that will help his confidence here.
Now Watkins flicks on, looking for Barkley. Ward-Prowse inside the area, has to deal with a high bouncing ball, and does well to cushion a header back towards Alex McCarthy. Now Ward-Prowse launches it long downfield. Ings was the target, but it's cleared away by Target. And now an opportunity for Grealish to come forward again for Villa. Wide towards Watkins on the left corner of the penalty area. Back towards Grealish again, who will invite the challenge from Gineppo, and then works the 1-2 with Watkins, and Grealish on the byline, goes down. Was it inside the penalty area? Well, the free kick's been given, and it's just outside.
Yeah. And it is Romeo that's coming off. I don't know whether that little turn from Grealish was enough for him, you know, he just twisted his blood and that was it. But no, he's had a really good game, Romeo.
And it's Romeo who makes way for Alexander Jankovic.
He's put a real shift in. Doesn't, if he is on the losing team, Romeo doesn't deserve to be. You know, I thought he was absolutely superb.
Well, he's just heading around to the technical area on this near side. We'll wait and see if he goes straight down the tunnel, but no, he heads towards the bench. In fact, he checks back and then goes straight down the tunnel.
He makes two runs. You're always told, mate, one run for defender, one run for you.
His movement absolutely killed me there.
Yeah, Lineker-like.
But it's a free kick for Villa, and it's played short to Barkley inside the area. Works the angle for the shot, and he tried to whip it in right-footed, and it was high and wide. but it will waste time, and we are in the 90th minute now, with Aston Villa leading by a goal to nil. And Ross Barkley, as things stand, is the match winner. And I'm sure much of the post-match talk will centre around both that goal and also the decision not to give a penalty to Southampton earlier in the first half. McCarthy clears downfield, and then Mings will just help the ball onto one of those huge red, white and black tarpaulins covering the seats on the far side, and it's a throw-in for Southampton, and there will be a minimum of 6 added minutes at the end of this game. Still time for Southampton to snatch an equaliser here. Ward-Prowse, 25 yards from goal, goes back towards Armstrong, and here is Redmond looking to take on Cash, and Redmond is forced back towards the halfway line. And now Stevens again, and Jankovic has been caught by Watkins, and it's a free kick he didn't really need to give away in that sort of area.
No, but I just wonder, they're taking this quick.
Wide towards Redmond, on this near side, the left. Thinks about the cross and delivers it high to the far post. Targets clearance, only finds Gineppo, who hits the byline right-hand side, fires it low into the 6-yard area. It's blocked, it's back to Gineppo, and he tries a very ambitious shot from the angle. He lofts it high over the top.
Yeah, Mings gets in the way again. Nice little ball to the back post. I mean, Matty Target with the clearing header is probably the one error he's made today. Straight to Gineppo. Gineppo just skips past him, trying to fire it along the 6-yard box, but Mings is in the way again. I mean, they've had to have a good performance, that back unit, and they have today. I think Mings has been up there with Matty Target. Conte's been really good too. Matty Cash has been aggressive.
Ralph Hasenhüttl pacing around the technical area. This will be 3 successive Premier League defeats, and they will believe they've been unlucky at times in this game. But Aston Villa have taken their chance. And here is Grealish finding McGinn down the left-hand side. A reverse ball back in field towards Grealish, who was challenged by Gineppo, but he won the ball. And now Jankovic plays it wide to the far side, and Armstrong, who runs the ball off target, and that will be a throw-in to Southampton. And the Saints are in a bit of a rut at the moment, Dave. I mean, what will change it? Maybe just a stroke of luck in the end.
Yeah, possibly. Hard work on the training ground. That's how Ralph got out of it before.
But here is Ings now, found by a long ball on the edge of the penalty area. A back here releases Redmond down the left-hand side. Very quickly, Traore steams in with the challenge. He wins it back. It spins into the path of Cash, who turns and clears long downfield. But it's brought down by Ward-Prowse, who finds Redmond once again with the shaven head. Infield towards Bertrand, and now Jankovic on the half turn. It's Adams who goes down inside the penalty area. The shot fired in by Bertrand, and then the equaliser is fired in by Ings, but the flag is up for offside, and Danny Ings is denied in added time.
Well, they're probably going to have a look at this, are they? Is he definitely offside here?
Well, it was Bertrand with the shot, and it was palmed up into the air by McCarthy, and then there was confusion inside the penalty area. We're watching the replay now.
Well, that's tight, isn't it? That's very, very tight.
Well, it was...
I mean, to the naked eye, to me, it looked like he might have just been level, or just... Is it an arm?
It's his arm. It's his...
A Bamford arm?
Left arm, which is beyond the final man.
Yeah.
But can you score a goal with your arm?
I don't know, Bamford, he couldn't, but that was disallowed. He's not pointing with his arm, it's just naturally, he's leaning that way, so his arms are out for balance. But you're not allowed to balance these days with your arms, you've got to bob around.
Well, the shot was blocked initially, it looped high into the air, and it dropped, and Ings forced the ball in. And they are having a look here. The line has been drawn. There's no doubt that Ings' arm is beyond the last man.
Yeah.
And offside's been given, no goal.
Yeah.
Ings denied in the 93rd minute.
It's a brilliant ball into Adams from Jankovic, wasn't it? With real purpose inside the box, and that just set him up for that attack. Good strike from Bertrand. He finished really well.
But it's not been the Saints' night.
No.
There'll be a change for Aston Villa soon. Marvellous Nakamba, the Zimbabwean international, will be coming on, as Jankovic does well to win the ball, then loses out to McGinn. Douglas Luiz just clips it over the top, but it's straight to McCarthy, who quickly bowls it out to Bertrand. Bertrand with a long ball down the field again. Adams will jump with Cash, and then Ward-Prowse goes down. Doesn't get the free kick though. Villa will clear. It's flicked on by Watkins on the halfway line. Tidied up by Bednarek, who goes all the way back towards McCarthy again. There's around a minute of added time remaining, but of course we didn't have the VAR check, and now Grealish has been flattened.
That is a free kick. I mean, I don't know how that hasn't gone Villa's way down.
Well, it's McCarthy who clears long downfield, driven towards this near side, helped on by Adams, then flicked on by Bertrand. Redmond will chase, and it's Mings who comes across just in front of us to hoof it out of play. And here is the change for Villa, and it's Barkley who will come off and Nakamba who will come on, just to waste a few seconds.
Yeah, he's in no rush here, Ross Barkley. He'll take his time. Another good clearance there, covering across from Tyrone Mings.
And Nakamba will come on as Villa here have to defend a throw-in from Bertrand. Deep into the 97th minute here. Bertrand hurls it in towards the near post. It's headed away by Concert. Lee Mason has a look at the watch. It's another throw-in for Southampton here. The opportunity to launch it long towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's flicked on by Adams, wide towards Redmond, who hooks it straight into the box. And that's a real waste.
It is.
Beyond the near post and out for a goal kick, and that should be that.
He had no need. I mean, a ball thrown into Adams, pops up in the air. He just pops it back to Redmond in the air, but he's got time. There's no one on him. He can take that down, settle himself and think, right, this could be the last cross of the game. You know, put it in with real quality. He had no need to take that ball on the volley and sailed it straight over the line, the end line, over the goal line. What a waste.
Emi Martinez, who's made a couple of excellent saves in the second half, will take the goal kick, and it's headed forward by Ward-Prowse, but it drops now to McGinn, and it's launched over the top for Grealish, who can break into the penalty area down the left-hand side. He may choose to head towards the corner flag though. He's drawn Djenepo and Jankovic towards him, and Grealish will just try and waste time, and instead he finds McGinn. A couple of drag backs from him. We welcome listeners from TalkSport here to the closing seconds at St Mary's, where Aston Villa still lead by a 1-0, but Southampton have had a penalty and a goal ruled out by VAR. The goal scored by Danny Ings deep into added time, but it was ruled out thanks to Danny Ings just drifting offside earlier on in the move. And the final whistle goes. Southampton's losing streak continues, but it's a 6th away victory for Aston Villa already this season. Ross Barkley with the other goal late in the first half, heading in the corner from Jack Grealish, and Aston Villa just about saw it out in what was a very attritional second half. They rise up to 8th in the table, but Southampton remain in the bottom half, and they're just in a rut at the moment, which Ralph Hasenhüttl will look to take them out of. It is finished. Southampton 0, Aston Villa 1.